Wait a minute, is there heathen hate in the chat? I am offended. I want to press charges right now. What's up, South to West? This is a chill stream. What was it? I found the heathen stream to be pretty chill. But I know people like different stuff. What's up, Scott? I knew Corn Dog would be here. What's up, Ronald? What's up, ATF? Hey, ATF, I got good news for you, buddy. Because the Methadone Clinic lost a loser leaves YouTube match to alcohol last night, she's taking a sabbatical from YouTube, so that's got to be good news for you. What's up, JC? All right, let's end. Well, I'm probably going to be back tomorrow, hopefully, for a weekend stream. But if not, we'll close out the weekend with a nice chill vibe with some sightings. I think we're on season 4, episode 12. Okay, here we go. I don't have any news.
On this edition of Sightings.
What's up, Cody?
In the early 50s, Hollywood had a love affair with flying saucers, but the nation's capital was experiencing.
Bob Brown, thank you again for the watermelons. A very worthy tribute to the heathen. He laid them gently by the drain. Thank you, Bob. I really appreciate that, man. What's up, Hugh Scanlon? It's rain and watermelons today.
Experiencing the real thing.
It seemed like the very second that the interceptors left our scope, our UFOs came back. It was kind of scary.
Sightings examines the very real and very frightening UFO attack on Washington. He is the leading exorcist in Japan, where he says there's an alarming increase in paranormal activity.
What's he doing, gooning out?
Japan is no good now. They do not respect the spirits that still live there.
Japan no good now.
Then, have wandering souls invaded a Chicago apartment building? And his book Communion is at the center of the alien contact controversy.
What's up, G-Thanks? Did you hear the news, G-Thanks, that Methadone is taking a sabbatical?
Has, in many respects, destroyed my life. But I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Now, Whitley Strieber is taking the controversy one step further.
We got a heavy hitter in this episode.
Sightings. I'm Tim White. On July 26, 1952, U.S. government officials and high-ranking military personnel gathered in the radar room of Washington National Airport. They were tracking an inbound craft traveling at more than 7,000 miles per hour.
What's up, Jerry?
Zeroing in on the nation's capital. Now, for the first...
I've seen that. It came out a long time ago. Image Entertainment put it out on DVD, but that's been like early 2000s, I think, since I've seen it.
First time on television, one of the men in that room has come forward to tell Sightings the craft they were tracking was out of this world. When this string of UFOs appeared over Mexico in 1992, UFO researchers took the threat very seriously. The UFOs bear an uncanny resemblance to these objects built over Utah 40 years earlier. But this was 1952, and UFOs were more likely to inspire B-movies than serious research.
Never before has the screen reached such heights of excitement.
In 1952, a double feature cost 25 cents, and UFOs were science fiction. And so it wasn't surprising that very few people took the threat seriously when flying saucers showed up in the nation's capital. It was the end of the trail for an unprecedented wave of UFO sightings, in which more than 1,500 people had reported seeing the strange craft.
1952, it was a major turning point in the history of UFOs.
Oh, Richard Hall.
The main reason that this was the year that so many UFOs were seen by military interceptor pilots and tracked on radar.
Richard Hall believes that the Flap of 52 was among the most significant events in UFO history.
When these sightings happened, we were in the midst of the Cold War, which involved a fear that the Soviet Union was going to send bombers over and there would be an atomic war. And this was the period when we had bomb shelters and air raid drills, and kids at school had to go hide under their desks. And so the immediate reaction was, well, this must be a Soviet Union enterprise. It must be a breakthrough in technology.
The United States Air Force launched a top-secret investigation as part of the year-old Project Blue Book.
Air Technology Center in Dayton, Ohio was put on a high-priority project to check this out, and they very quickly learned that this was not anything the Soviet Union had produced. And this led a lot of people immediately to say, well, if it's not from the Soviet Union, it must be from outer space, because there was no other explanation for it.
The Foreign Technology Division at Wright Field, now Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, was swamped with calls from alarmed eyewitnesses. Veteran newspaper reporter Al Chop was hired by the Air Force to manage the flow
Al Chop.
of information.
The policy at that time was to
this would have been this thumbnail would have went hard. Al Chop.
answer to the best of our ability any queries on particular
106.
UFO sightings, and often we could explain what the people saw, often we could not.
Chop estimates that at least 25% of the UFOs investigated by the Air Force were verifiable, but unidentifiable, including this Montana sighting and the sighting in Utah. In each case, eyewitnesses described multiple bluish-white objects flying in formation at speeds beyond the reach of 1952 technology. The government was interested, but not alarmed by these sightings until two Midsummer's Night Saturdays, when they showed up in Washington, D.C.
We have UFO sightings that take place at the Washington National Airport on two
Oh
consecutive
man,
Saturday
Kevin
nights.
Randall. Remember when he was in the UFC? Oh, and he had that great fight in Pride where he dumped Fedor on his head.
Objects are seen on radar. They're seen visually, not only at Washington National Airport.
What's up, Jumpman? Thank you, man, for the $10. Hey, Mark. Hey, Chad. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, Jumpman. Thank you. I'll put that directly to the dispensary fund. Unfortunately, I won't get ATF media type deals with it, but I will try to be a good steward of the money.
Airport, but Andrews Air Force Base. Everybody who was there
Thank you, man.
saw
I appreciate
something.
that.
Kevin Randall has one of the largest collections of data, documents, and photographs about the Washington incident.
What is interesting is that we have radars in separate locations also seeing the objects. We have airline pilots seeing them as well. Air Force interceptors are scrambled. They see the objects as well. So we have a wide variety of people seeing these bright bluish-white lights.
Al Chop bringing in the donos.
In 1952, National Airport was Washington's only
Chop.
airport, centrally located and within a few miles of three important intelligence
this is
centers:
cool.
the Pentagon, the White House, and the Capitol. Al Chop was in the airport radar room the night the UFOs first appeared.
We let the press in, and they were observing the scope, along with the radar operators.
He looks like kind of like Lou Duva was in good shape.
We had about 4 or 5 radar operators there.
The Air Force ordered an immediate scramble at nearby Bolin Air Force Base. But the interceptor jets weren't there. They were in Delaware.
The Air Defense Squadron that normally guards the Capitol was
Did you win a wager on Japanese soccer?
assigned to Newcastle, Delaware, because they were repairing the runways at
Bob
Bolin Air
Barker,
Force
his
Base,
hair.
which seemed unusual for UFOs to visit the Capitol when the jets aren't there.
It took over an hour for two F-95
Yeah, he also really looks like somebody who would like be able to lead a team to the Final Four in the NCAA tournament in the 80s.
to reach the Capitol.
When we could see the flight coming in, all of our unknowns disappeared completely from the scope. It was kind of scary.
What's up, Go Hogs? What's up, Mac and Cheese?
So we let them go back to base.
Was it you that posted on the Heathen thing and said that I put in a full shift covering this BS? I take the Heathen lore very seriously. I'm always willing to put the time in.
Like the very second that the interceptors left
Bobby
the range of our
Knight
scope, our
throwing a
UFOs
chair.
came back.
The fighters were recalled and began searching the skies over Washington. One pilot did make visual contact with the UFOs, and this time, the objects did not disappear.
He flew into this cluster of lights. And then he said, I see them. They're all
That's pretty wild, Jumpman.
around me. And he described them as brilliant blue-white lights. And we just looked at each other, couldn't figure out what was going on up there.
The objects hovered in the sky until dawn, then disappeared.
If I can get the time, which I think I can, I'm going to do a mega stream tomorrow of the Dark Triad of Fusion Studios. Extended segments on VP's return, Bethadone's relapse, and then I'm waiting to hear back from Grace on if she's going to send me a link to a stream that I want. If not, I'll have to pull I'll have to pull something from my archive on her. But I want to do a dark triad for the return of Grace and VP, and then Bethadone bowing out for a while.
There were banner headlines in newspapers across the country recounting the spectacular flyover and speculating about its origin. On July 29, 1952, Major General John A. Samford, Air Force Chief of Intelligence, held this press conference to explain the government's position.
I am here to discuss the so-called flying saucers. We have, as of date, come to only one firm conclusion.
It was the most heavily attended news conference since World War II. That's how big it was. And they were under pressure to explain what is this thing that's flying all over the country that we can't identify and have no control over. The official conclusion the Air Force came to was that temperature inversions had caused these sightings. Temperature inversions are when
I know sometimes Tim White will just parrot whatever was said in the video as if we're just supposed to take everything from the segment at face value. He's like, well, once that was proven to be factually correct. I'm like, wait, what?
A cool layer of air gets trapped over a warm layer and forms a sort of atmospheric lens, and the signals are refracted, and you see things flying around where there really is nothing.
According to Hall, temperature inversions give only very weak radar returns and are incapable of the kind of acrobatic performance clearly observed on radar at National Airport.
And the Air Force...
Didn't you say you were going to throw... Oh, no. You said something about him being upset about it. And he told you if you liked it so much, maybe he'd come throw watermelon rinds on your board.
Came up with the rather lame explanation that they were temperature inversions. This, for some reason, satisfied people.
They want us to believe that this is just simple misplaced swamp gas.
It's hard to imagine why, but it did. It threw people off the track, and newsmen, like everybody else, I guess, it was too mind-boggling for them to believe it was real.
But the incident is indelibly set in the minds of those who experienced it firsthand.
These were good, solid returns. The Air Force radar expert who was present that night stated that they were good, solid returns, and he thought they were picking up metallic objects.
These solid returns from metal objects have never been identified.
He looks like he'd get real mad at Jack Tripper and his two female roommates and always kind of suspect that maybe Jack Tripper wasn't gay.
Or foe, earthly or extraterrestrial. From Utah in 1952 to the so-called attack on Washington to Mexico City in 1992, these objects remain a tantalizing mystery, begging to be solved. But so far, no government has been willing to claim the obsolete 40-year-old technology as its own, or to provide another explanation, or even to pledge the funds necessary to conduct a comprehensive investigation. Our leaders do not see UFOs as a potential threat, and in that way, little has changed since 1952. By assuming the Washington flap of 52 was created by...
Isn't that kind of part of the dynamic of it, though? Is like, you know what I mean? Kind of like they'd have a Western where like the gunslinger, the aging gunslinger would come back to town and, for one last showdown. I think he's looking for one last showdown. Every confrontation jumps straight into one of us is going to die. Do you think the heathen knows and he's trying to get his, get his ticket into Valhalla punched by going out in a, spectacular battle?
By unusual weather conditions, some ufologists believe the U.S. government missed a golden opportunity to make significant contact with
Yeah, I try not to be mad about anything, really, because it doesn't really do any good. You can be frustrated or whatever, but, holding on to it, it's kind of pointless because there's nothing you can really do about most of it.
Terrestrial visitors. They wonder,
I'd rather
will we
get
be
high
ready
and
the next time
watch crazy
otherworldly forces choose to make their presence known?
Next, Japan's leading exorcist.
The heathen is back there with his documents.
The president strengthens Area 51's veil of secrecy. And are mysterious apparitions and visions on the rise?
Science, logic,
Does she have
and
a
a deep
YouTube
commitment to traditional values have long been the cornerstone
I've got a gap in programming now.
of Japanese culture. But Japan is in the midst of a social revolution. Many people there are beginning to embrace the supernatural.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying, isn't there kind of a charm and but then again, like you're not viewing it the you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I just think as like a storyline, it's great, but then like, you know, my brain forgets that it's like real life.
On a recent trip to Japan, I met with Mudo Oda, one of the most influential leaders in Japan's emerging New Age. In Japan, more than 125 million people live in an area smaller than the state of Montana. And with so many people and so few natural resources, something's got to give. And in Japan today, it is the ancient religious traditions that are gradually being squeezed out. In its place, I discovered a new kind of
Menard debated Andrew Wilson?
Spiritualism emerging in Japan. Mudo Oda is one new religious leader who combines exorcism.
Next thing they're going to tell us, mac and cheese, is that if we turn our couch a specific direction, it'll make us happier or we'll have better gut health.
Traditional Zen Buddhism and spirit photography to get his New Age message
Oh, remember
across.
that? Remember in the early days of sightings, they would have spirit photography?
I believe as we live, there is nothing that is truly ours, and nothing will remain after we die. I believe that all human bodies are temporary physical forms, and that the true world...
Like Heaven's Gate, these are just our vehicles. Our souls are driving our vehicles. So when you die, you don't really die. You just leave your vehicle.
...is the world of the spirits.
And according to Oda, the spirits are restless. Japan is their island too, Oda warns, and if the living do not make a place for the dead and respect the power of otherworldly spirits, the spirits will rise up and demand respect. There have been a great many changes in Japan in the past years. Are you calling on people to find their spirituality again? Is that really your goal?
Japan is no good now. They are tearing down graves and do not respect that the spirits still live there. I would like to protect the ancestors.
But Ben wants to live out... Well, remember, that was a sticking point. This is kind of maybe a deep cut, but talking about Menard, that was one of Menard's criticisms of Ben, was that Ben just wanted to live a comfortable life and then have a safe, quiet death. Remember, he was so mad at Ben for that? Ben doesn't have that same drive to... You know, he's not... he's thinking about the bliss of heaven, not the, you know, war realm of Valhalla.
Ancestors and keep the ideals of the temples alive. The world of the spirits must be defended to maintain this.
In his practice, Oda combines traditional Zen Buddhist teachings with non-traditional rituals. Ceremonial beatings are performed on willing followers. This traditional rituals.
Wait a minute, was the Sandman a Buddhist? Was it a Buddhist exorcist?
Ceremonial beatings are performed in Buddhist teachings with...
Listen, God, tell me I need to hit you with Singapore cane.
Non-traditional rituals. Ceremonial beatings are performed on willing followers. This is necessary, Oda claims, to appease
what a
a
bunch of
person's
dopes.
anger performed on willing followers. This is necessary rituals. Practice. Oda combines tradition.
Listen, bro, if you want to get into heaven, man, I gotta beat the brakes off of you with this Singapore cane. It's not me. I don't want to be doing this. God says I have to.
Traditional Zen Buddhist teachings with non-traditional rituals. Ceremonial beatings are performed on willing followers. This is necessary.
Now, of course, South to West, Ben believes in it as well, ceremonial beatings, but he prefers emotional and psychological beatings rather than like the traditional Catholic like self-flagellation.
Necessary, Oda claims, to appease a person's angry ancestors. So they
The
can
devious
rest in
one.
peace.
I would like the people to remember and appreciate the world of the spirits. I feel this has been
This
forgotten.
guy.
People look at those with special powers as being God or godlike, but I don't feel that way.
Oh, thank you.
It is just that spirits have entered
my
people's
God.
bodies.
In addition to the spiritual cleansing he performs in his temple, Oda also performs exorcisms inside people's homes. To prepare himself, Oda believes that meditating under this waterfall allows him to absorb the powerful life force of the water. He says he needs this energy.
This guy is, I mean, you talk about people that are actually using free will. This is the guy. He's definitely operating on a different level of free will than me.
To confront the spirits.
When I began doing this, I did not start out calling myself an exorcist. In Japan, traditionally, when there are no living family members of a deceased person able to take care of the family grave, the grave was destroyed and disposed of. I wanted people to understand that the spirit is still there, even if the physical grave is removed. That is why I began doing this.
Oda uses an ancient crystal sphere to determine the location and disposition of the spirits. The crystal is placed over a picture of the home or person to be exorcised, and then the crystal is photographed. Inside, Oda claims to see residual images of the dead.
I concentrate on the inside of the crystal and call, and then photograph the spirits. There are some that come out clearly, and those that are not so clear. I have seen over 30,000 spirits. When you look at the photographs,
this is such an absolute goof show. This guy, his religion is beating people with a stick, having them gaze into a fucking cheap Hobby Lobby crystal ball. Give me a break.
You will be surprised.
We talked about one previous case in which 6 members of one family had died within 1 year of moving into their home. Relatives who inherited the house asked Oda to exorcise the building.
And what does this image in here tell us about what happened in that house?
During the Sengoku period, this house was used by members of the Takeda Shingen clan. They would run away to this land and commit suicide. This was during the 1500s. Many years later, a home was built on this land. The spirits do not rest.
I would get that guy from the Hall of Shame guy, Rob Wakowitz, or whatever his name is, Wakowitz. I would get him to come after this guy. This guy is a fucking sham artist. He should be shut down.
I accompanied Oda to a second-floor apartment here, outside of Tokyo. The family had requested that Oda perform an exorcism and graciously agreed to let Sightings videotape the ritual.
This is the Japanese Sally house.
The Ishii family told Oda that strange apparitions...
This is cool, though, that they actually went to Japan for the show. Yeah, on location. That's pretty cool.
...were showing up in family snapshots and on the TV.
They're like, listen, you got to get over to Japan. You got to see this guy.
Even when it was turned off.
The land under the house.
What's going on with his hair here? It looks like it's like Lego hair or something, like a size too big for his head. Very strange.
The land under the house. There are many people who have died there.
This is a mockery of the ideology of their ideology. How this man is a Buddhist. He's allowed to say whatever he wants to as a Buddhist about Buddhism, right? He can't be a hater or a mocker if he practices the religion. It's like saying Ben makes a mockery out of Catholicism.
Time ago. There are many people that have died and still live as spirits today.
Many people died.
Oda finds evidence of spirit residue in
live as spirits today. There are many people who have died there. Long time ago. There are many people that have died and still live as spirits today.
Stab.
Oda finds evidence of spirit residue in this photograph and in his crystal photography, where he sees dozens of pairs of glowing eyes.
You say you've been frightened by the power of some of these spirits. When you are performing...
This is supposed to be a chill stream, and Udo Man has gotten everybody on edge.
An exorcism of a house or
Not
of a person.
in a good way.
Do you draw the spirit out of them and into yourself?
I do not put the spirits into my body.
Many people
Through a
died
chant,
here.
the spirit rises from the person's body. I send my powers to the spirit. But if the spirit is exceptionally strong, it will fight back. I'm putting all of my energy into this. It seems dramatic.
He's like, listen, I know a lot of this stuff sounds really scary, but don't worry, I've got a bell.
But that is probably from my energy. I do not think about yesterday or tomorrow. I am concentrating on what to do. All of my energy is here.
As the exorcism begins, Ota uses incense, temple bells, and gifts to demonstrate his respect for the spirits
Snake oil
trapped, he
Buddhist.
believes, inside this house.
Today there are spirits that have lived here hundreds of years ago.
I've
To
got a
those who
bell.
have not risen to heaven, we hope that you will reach heaven. There are many that invade these bodies and cause problems, but you should not bother others. Forget the past and go on your way.
Surprisingly,
Nice
Ota
corn
sensed
dog.
the presence of a displaced spirit, not in the home, but inside the body of Mrs. Ishii. He performed an exorcism
Oh
to
wow, he's gonna have to manually remove the evilness from the lady of the
pull the
house.
spirit out of her.
This guy's a man.
We are sending you to heaven. No longer wander
Can
in
you
the
imagine this guy? What kind of a person do you have to be to go into somebody's home and put on this big fucking charade, and then you're hitting her with these weird maracas and shit? You got to be a complete goof to I mean, I know he made money, probably a lot of money doing it, but wouldn't you feel like a goof, kind of like Peter James running around the house? I heard a voice coming from over here.
world and find truth in heaven.
What did you feel while Oda-san was touching you?
I could feel a spirit leaving my body.
Oh,
I
give me
was
a
very
break.
surprised. I simply listened to what the priest was saying and cleared my mind
getting
of all
fired
other
up.
thoughts. I feel like I have been relieved. I feel lighter.
Thousands
After he touched me, I feel much relief.
of people have come to worship at Ota's temple, and some mainstream religious
Look at
leaders
this nerd.
are worried that Ota is rapidly gaining cult status. Ota rejects the notion that he is a cult leader, insisting that it is not the messenger but the message that is important to his followers.
I want to continue working with my temple. I would like the youth of today to understand that traditional religion relates to the world of today. That every day when you wake up, you should tell yourself that you will do your best. That is all I want people to do.
Look at this. This sums up this whole video to me, this still picture here.
Ota doesn't agree with his critics who charge that he's turning away from his Buddhist roots. Instead,
You know what? He did have good, even though I was infuriated by his grifting, he had good camera presence. He seemed like a fairly charismatic guy with the stabbing motions and the sleeping motions. I think he could have had a good run as like a kind of like a Papa Shango level, you know, maybe this guy against the Ultimate Warrior.
He believes that belief in and respect for the ancient spirits of Japan is fundamental to preserving his country's traditional values.
Spirit residue.
Next, no hope for the victims of Area 51's negligence. Does this recent crop circle spell doom for planet Earth? And housing for the next millennium?
The title of this didn't mention anything about aliens.
Here are some of the stories that Sightings is following in the news. Gaia-friendly is a new term being used to describe programs and projects that seek to keep our needs and the Earth's needs
Gaia first? He didn't just say that, did he?
in balance. Programs and projects. Gaia-friendly is a new
Okay,
term
good, he
being used to
didn't.
describe programs and
Yeah, and nothing that says has Gaia in it, I don't feel like is going to work. That's just not a very fun word to say.
projects that seek to keep our needs and the Earth's needs in balance. In Taos, New Mexico, environmentalists who are trying to maintain this pristine landscape are getting a lot of help from a new breed of Gaia-friendly homesteader.
The condition of the planet and the environment is gradually getting worse and worse and worse and worse.
We're in the heathen's backyard.
It's more than just like architecture.
Oh
or
boy, look at this guy. Real free spirit. Probably a degen. Mike Reynolds. Architect. He builds structures with tires. No, I don't know what he. I don't know. What he does.
Our energy or water collection. It's a way of life that is really going to.
It's I drank the rest of the Alani with the Panax ginseng. Plus, I'm fired up from the last segment. I'll chill out.
Make people be more peaceful on this planet.
Reynolds is designing homes that are environmentally friendly from the ground up. Built from recycled materials, his self-sustaining homes are called Earthships.
When you really look at what these are, they are vessels, independent vessels.
What's up, Randy? This guy kind of looks like Michael Bay, the director.
Vessels that will take us into the future. So that's how we ended up with the name Earthship. They're of the Earth, of course. They're aligned with the phenomena of the Earth. And through that, they will sail us into the future.
Oh,
the
boy.
homes are created out of tires, aluminum cans, and rammed
Oh
earth.
man, look at
They are
that.
designed
See,
to recycle.
why did I walk it back? I felt it in my bones. I felt it, and I was like, "Well, I don't want to prejudge this guy. I'll take back what I said about him being a tire architect." Man,
Existing environmental waste and to provide pollution-free sources of water and energy.
This is like 3
you think he's nude inside of these tire structures?
operations of throwing mud
This is ridiculous. This guy's putting fucking beer cans into the walls. What are we doing here, Sightings?
into the void between the tires. Then there's 1 can and then another glob of mud, and then 2 cans, and then another glob of mud goes on that. Then you're ready for plastic.
This is what they, okay, whatever, architect.
They admit the sun for heating.
This guy calling himself an architect is whenever, like, Eric McHenry talks about Charles Trippey and Megan Ranks being his peers as YouTube creators.
And warming. They admit the sun to make electricity. They, rather than have a roof like this that sheds rain, they have a roof like this that catches rain. So all phenomena are what we are using as our public utility system. You know, no matter what happens with the rest of the world, an Earthship is going to see you through. That's why we say it's going to sail on the seas of tomorrow.
From Rachel, Nevada,
Ah,
we recently
Rachel,
reported
Nevada.
on a lawsuit
I think I've seen a few of her films.
filed by former workers at Area 51, the top-secret military base near Groom Lake, Nevada.
Groom
For
Lake.
years, there has been speculation
Full Moon made a movie called Groom Lake, I think, that had William Shatner in it.
that captured extraterrestrial craft are tested and reverse-engineered here. Some workers claim that they were exposed to highly toxic chemicals the Air Force was burning in the early 1980s, in violation of state and federal environmental laws. Tests performed on tissue samples from
I've got to remember, I'll put that into a bumper in the future. That is a really funny phrase.
a deceased Area
I'm Craig Fingerling. Here at Fusion Studios, we're sailing into the seas of tomorrow.
51 worker found extraordinary levels of an unknown
Oh,
toxin.
here's this guy again.
I sent the profile to some colleagues around the country and other countries, and people said,
I feel like we've seen Dr. Peter Kahn multiple times.
what on earth is this? And I was not in a position really to tell them. Nobody had any
The
idea
wrath
what
of
this stuff
Khan.
might have been.
Now, the White House has stepped in to make sure the public does not find out. The plaintiff's request for information about waste disposal practices at Groom Lake has been denied. President Clinton recently signed this presidential determination, exempting the base from disclosing
Oh, so we can thank Bill Clinton for not knowing what went on in this situation.
classified information concerning that operating location, end quote. The president's action ensures that whatever is going on at Area 51 will continue securely behind closed doors.
Every one of these stories is making me
From
mad.
Winchester, England, videographer Peter Sorensen has made an unusual discovery while analyzing footage he taped there during the summer of 1995. Sorensen has found that this crop circle is an accurate depiction of our inner solar system, with one startling exception. Earth is missing.
What this crop circle has in it is like a beaded necklace of separate circles that represents the asteroid belt. And we know this quite surely because inside of that thing is an area containing the orbits for 4 planets.
Oh, south to west, I don't get upset about that kind of stuff.
And a sun in the middle.
Speaking of politeness when it comes to leaving the heathen stream, the heathen apologized in the comments for leaving the stream.
And our own solar system, this is
He's
exactly
very
the anatomy
polite
of it.
to me.
The sun, then Mercury, then Venus, then the Earth, Mars, and the asteroid belt. There was Mars, there was Venus and Mercury, but no Earth. And like a little chill goes through me. I think, wait a minute, now what does that mean?
Sorensen believes the crop circle may bear a message about the asteroid Tautatis, which some astronomers believe is on a collision course with planet Earth.
We've just discovered that there is a large asteroid, and it's headed towards Earth. It'll be here in 1999, and it may very well hit the Earth. It's within a very small...
This is Hale Bop, right? Or no?
distance, astronomically speaking. And I go, asteroid belt, crop circle, missing Earth. It all came together. And if it was to strike, it would be similar to what happened when the dinosaurs became extinct. There won't be any life.
Man, these are good graphics.
The missing Earth crop circle has added fuel to the doomsday fire.
These are dumb.
But Sorensen believes this pattern is a warning and that we must put technology to work in order to avert disaster.
For a long time, many scientists have been recommending that we should have
I just
missile
don't
systems
understand like the fascination with them. It just, even if they are real, who cares? Like, it's not that interesting.
in place that are designed to go out and hit an asteroid, push it out of the way. It's a doomsday scenario in some people's eyes, but not in mine. In my opinion, it means we have a chance to do something about it.
Well, hopefully doing something about it doesn't entail dressing in all purple and taking a weird yogurt treat and then being covered up in the Heaven's Gate mansion.
We'll have more stories from the news next time. Now, here's what's coming up on Sightings.
Author Whitley Strieber believes that interdimensional beings continue to visit this New York location.
If we went back and talked to Indians, we'd find they were telling the same stories.
But first, can anything be done to help the wandering souls haunting this apartment?
I think this is a sign that we need to watch. We need to watch another couple tapes in the Heaven's Gate series. No, I don't. Aliens are interesting. Crop circles to me are not interesting. Like, there's only so much you can say about it. It doesn't go anywhere.
An apartment building in Justice, Illinois, is surrounded by cemeteries.
Watermelon
But a lot of the
rind.
people who live there don't
What if Eddie Sellers set up the watermelon rind in the shape of the Blair Witch logo?
seem to be bothered by the weird location. The building's proximity to so many grave sites didn't used to bother Valerie Kalecki either, until she started seeing someone lurking in the shadows.
Uh-oh.
The first time I saw it, I didn't know what to do. I just like froze in bed.
From the graveyard across the street, you can see Valerie
That's
Kalecki's apartment
ATF.
building. Right away, there is a sense that something is wrong here. The building seems out of place, and
Right, but there's nothing interesting about them as it stands. Like, there's nothing. They've been around for like decades, and there's been zero movement.
maybe part of the reason for the haunting events happening inside.
Where my bed is positioned in my bedroom.
Now, Valerie Kalecki talking about her haunting phenomenon in her bedroom. That's interesting.
The head of my bed will... Where my bed is positioned in my bedroom, the head of my bed will face the hallway in the kitchen. So I could be laying there reading or watching TV, and I will glance out the bedroom door and I will see. The only way I can describe it is a shadow. It's just the build of a tall, sculptured male. I really don't know how to explain it.
A tall, sculptured male?
The inexplicable
Sculptured male shadow. It's just the build of a tall, sculptured male. I really don't know how to explain it.
The inexplicable shadow is only one of a number of paranormal forces that have plagued Valerie since 1984. In the past few years, Valerie has had serious medical problems, and it seems that as her illness progresses, the ghostly forces are intensifying.
Okay, so it's the tall, sculptured man is what's causing her health conditions to worsen. He's like an OPC Don type.
Valerie's doorbell will ring, but no one is there. Doors slam shut, as if pushed by an unseen force. The lights in her bedroom turn on and off for no apparent reason, and Valerie's cat is exhibiting uncharacteristic behavior.
I've heard that cats are more sensitive to things, and now I believe it. He will be in a room and he'll start looking around like above him, as if he was looking at something, but there's nothing there that we can see. And we can't explain that.
Slender
What really
man.
convinced me to get involved in this case was just the amount
There's Charlie's, what that guy, remember, is it his uncle that's got the tiny hands?
of evidence, the amount of sightings, and the credibility of the witnesses involved.
Dale Kaczmarek is the founder and president of the Ghost Research Society. Using electronic detectors, Dale and his associates hope to find deviations in the normal electromagnetic.
Yeah, they do, but it's because they see shit. Like Cicero, for some reason, is like really fascinated with the TV, but like they'll look at different stuff. But I just think it's because they see things that we don't. Not ghosts.
Fields, which could indicate a paranormal presence.
As we approach the back of the...
Some people have commented that Cicero is like, they think that he might be a skinwalker because his face is kind of, he makes some kind of unusual, like, human-esque facial expressions, but that's just nonsense.
Apartment near the back bedroom, we began to get much more activity.
There were abnormally high field.
Does Clarence know that they're in his mom's bedroom?
Readings in Valerie's bedroom and downstairs in the laundry room. Sightings brought in psychic and paranormal investigator Peter Anthony to follow up on Kaczmarek's findings. Peter claims to have the ability to communicate with the dead and...
Yeah, like a bug or like a light might reflect a certain way. Cicero will get fascinated, like, if the sun's coming in and he can see like the smoke in the sunlight, like that gets him really like agitated.
In fact, he was drawn to the same
like want to
hotspots
jump
that
up
had been
and
detected before his arrival. He immediately
Dust
descended into
particles.
the basement laundry room.
This is where it's the strongest.
One of the ladies that live in the building, she is #1 skeptic. Well, she opened the door to go into the laundry room, and immediately she saw what she described was a layout of a man laying on the folding table in the laundry room.
Among Peter's first psychic impressions were shadowy images of a man, just as Valerie and her neighbor had described.
What happens with me is I get videos, and it's almost like a fast forward on the VCR to try to understand the storyline.
Little Guido?
On a VCR that's being pushed on fast forward, you have moments to sort of quickly gather what's going on, and that's how I get my visions.
During his psychic investigation, Peter was also drawn to some innocuous-looking shrubbery directly opposite Valerie's bedroom window.
And this is where I'm picking up child. It's almost as though there's something in the very back. I don't know what I'm getting. I sense a small figure of some sort here.
Peter sat on an old bench nearby. Psychic impressions were replaying in his mind.
There's a lot of sadness right here. A lot of sadness. And it's interesting. It's as though I see an older man crying here.
As day turned to night, Peter
Oh,
kept
look at this
circling
beautiful golden hour
the same
photography.
area.
What I'm sensing, perhaps,
Ralph Macchio just hanging out in golden hours.
this used to be an extension of the cemetery. I noticed there's a cemetery across the way. Maybe this is why this man is sitting at the bench crying.
He felt the source of the haunting was very near. Once again, he was drawn to the shrubbery near Valerie's bedroom window. And this time, he made a startling discovery.
That's me.
This is it. This is where your spirits are coming from. This is the male spirit
Okay.
that keeps coming through.
What a goof.
Peter continued to dig and discovered 3 gravestones hidden under leaves and dirt. Long-neglected gravestones that Peter believes hold the key to the haunting activity surrounding the apartment building.
As I walked towards the bush and got that there was something underneath the bush, got that it was a cemetery, it made sense. This man was crying over loss. His family apparently is buried here in the basement, or loved ones. And so his spirit form comes here and has not been able to leave that moment in his life.
But Peter's revelations only deepen the mystery. There is no record of a graveyard ever existing on this property.
There may be other gravestones just outside these
That's
windows.
not super surprising though, is it? Wasn't it fairly common back in the day when like people would own, it was more common to own large pieces of property that you would just bury your bury your dead, like sometimes right on your property. Or you'd have like a family cemetery
on the property, or even closer than the ones that
might
we know
not be
about.
like set, you know what I mean? Might not be as clearly.
So I believe this all ties in together.
Like, you know, you wouldn't have like they might not have all of it documented or whatever, big headstones.
His connection with Valerie is that her illness reminds him of his feelings towards his family. He almost is acting as though he's watching over her or as a protector. It's nothing evil, anything evil. It's just almost like a fatherly or brotherly love.
Why aren't there any dinosaur ghosts? I can't remember the movie, but I thought I saw a movie one time where they had animal ghosts. My favorite animal-related supernatural thing, though, is that maybe the awful Dr. Orloff, I can't remember the name of it, but there was like this invisible dude haunting this house, and then at the end you found out it was like an invisible gorilla or something.
I don't believe that whatever is here is harmful in any way, because if it was, by now it would have shown itself. I'm very comfortable, and I don't feel like I need...
She's spending too much time cooking and cleaning and maintaining her personal hygiene to focus on whatever these ghosts are doing. She's got a household to maintain, and that's going to come first, always. That's the trad way.
To leave.
Peter Anthony believes that the mystery of the graves under the apartment building must be solved before the spirits there will be free to move on and out of Valerie's life. But so far, the names on the headstones cannot be found in any cemetery records or on any county death certificate.
Next, after 10 years of interdimensional visitors, Whitley Strieber is still searching for the truth.
It's something that we don't understand, and I want to understand it because it happens to me.
In the early 1980s, thousands of people were having strange visions of alien creatures.
So he basically would believe that animals have kind of an atheist experience where they're alive and, you know, conscious and everything, but then once they die, like, then that light is out, like, permanently.
Owned abduction and bizarre medical experiments. They kept it a secret and feared that they were going crazy. But then a man named Whitley Strieber wrote a book called Communion about his own abduction experience. It was a breakthrough for all those people who felt it was finally safe to come forward.
Yeah, he is a heavy hitter. Let's see if we can find the trailer for Communion real quick. Whoops. Oh, here we go. Oh my god. Amazing trailer, wow.
It wasn't a dream. There's a group that meets.
Group?
People who've seen the same sort of things you have.
Which group of aliens abducted you?
Bob, we are not victims. We are participants.
I don't recall them being human.
I've got to go! My baby's screaming!
Oh, wow.
You people, you sit there, you're in for one big surprise.
Tell him, man. All right, there you go. There's the movie about Whitley Strieber's book.
In the middle of the night, I woke up and found myself, instead of being in my bed, in a little cramped room with what I perceived to be long faces with big black slanted bulging eyes staring at me. A lot of noise and activity around me. Something was fired into the side of my head, a little needle.
Movie night is on hiatus for a while.
And then it was just black. And the next morning I woke up. At first I thought I was crazy. And then I had to face the fact that it was something real that I did not understand. And it became clear that whatever it was, that it did appear to be contact with aliens. Did some research on them. I wrote a book about my experiences called Communion.
Communion was the first book to crystallize the alien abduction phenomenon. It was an instant hit and stayed on the bestseller list for nearly a year. The book's success transformed the lives of Whitley and Ann Strieber.
When the book Communion first came out, Whitley and Ann were receiving
Dora Ruffner, colleague trad.
thousands of letters a month. It was very difficult to actually handle all that mail, and they felt that they had an obligation to
See, it was difficult for her to handle that volume, not a high-capacity trad.
respond to these letters. So the Communion letter was a response to try to generalize that communication so that we could help people who were writing to Whitley. There was no belief system that was
Is
being
that lady shitting outside?
promoted. It really was like a networking effort.
The Communion newsletter continues to this day, but the focus
What a neat little room he's in.
has changed over the years. Fear of the aliens and suspicion about their motives has been replaced with an active pursuit of contact, the breakthrough Strieber describes in his latest book. Ed Conroy is a reporter who has charted Strieber's life after Communion in his own book and has found that not everyone believes that Strieber is sincere.
I got a lot of angry letters from various people who were trying to convince me that Whitley Strieber was emotionally unstable, a pathological liar, but I happened to notice that these letters were coming from people who appeared to be obsessed with vilifying Whitley Strieber.
I'm the bad guy all the way around. I am the guy that the skeptics say started the whole belief in alien abductions. And I don't follow the UFO community's holy writ. This is aliens from another planet, etc., and so forth at all. I mean, I don't genuinely know what it is. I just know it's something that we don't understand, and I want to understand it because it happens to me.
Many abduction experiencers turned their backs on the Striebers when they began to question the extraterrestrial origin of the phenomenon. But Whitley and Ann continue to pursue contact with visitors they believe are from another dimension.
I suspect they've always been here. Many religions have talked about beings like this, many legends, folklore. But I think right now our culture doesn't have a place for them. I think the visitors are here, and some people see them and some people don't.
In 1990, the Striebers took up permanent residence in this cabin in upstate New York. It is the same place where Whitley had his very first abduction experience in 1985.
It's an interesting place because a lot of people have had things happen back in here, unusual things. Hunters who have seen figures.
Yeah, that's him. When it comes to sightings, they spare no expense on getting the very best. We're getting Whitley Strieber and a trip to Japan in the same video. Plus, that one guy. I can't remember anything about him. I can't remember what he did, but it was that guy earlier that kind of looked like Michael Bolton.
Bet you that if we went back 500 years and talked to Indians, we'd find they were telling the same stories.
Whitley wanted to write another book, but he feared continuing criticism from skeptics. So, before he began work on Breakthrough, Whitley claims he gave the visitors an ultimatum.
If I was going to write another book, they had to show me what they were doing. And they had to do this in multiple witness experiences, where I would be able to verify everything they were doing, step by step.
Over the next 5 years, the Streebers' cabin became a laboratory for the abduction experience. People from all over the country came here to make contact with the visitors and to be interviewed about their experiences. Many who came here did make contact, and for the first time since the project...
What's up, OC? That was quite a desk. Very Doug Locke-esque.
...began, the Streebers have allowed a television crew to visit the sites where Whitley and his guests experienced most of their contact.
I felt something climb in through the window. I thought it
Yeah, the Coke can tire architect guy.
was a skunk or a raccoon that had climbed onto the bed. I very slowly rolled over, and what I saw was a small being crouched at the foot of the bed. 1 foot on the window ledge, 1 foot on the bed. Its leg was touching my leg. I could feel it as much as I'm feeling the chair under my body right now. It just very simply raised its hand. And my
This is a much better angle for her, I feel
just
like.
touching my leg. I could feel it as much as I'm feeling.
This angle's okay,
the chair
but
under my body right now. It just
I mean, now we're really getting
very
it.
simply raised its hand. And my instinct, my reaction.
Why does she have? She's on. Well, maybe it's just the camera angle. It looks like maybe she uses this for her Coke nail.
Was, well, you fool, reach out and touch it, you know? Which is what I did. I just reached forward and allowed my fingertips to touch its fingertips. And what actually occurred at that moment was a sensation, not unpleasant, like what you'd feel if you touched a tuning fork, you know, a vibration. Down my hand, down my side, almost like a circuit was made to the point where its leg touched mine.
I saw a large glowing ball of light that came from behind the group and floated over the level of the trees, and really not very high above.
He looks like the kind of guy that would have one of those old style pitchers of lemonade with ice in it.
Us. I mean, it was very close to us, and I must say that
He just seems to me like he would want to offer you lemonade. I don't know.
An extraordinary thing to see.
Breakthrough chronicles
Or like he's the kind of guy that always has Pepperidge Farms on hand.
many of the visitations his guests have experienced here. But despite hundreds of accounts from independent experiencers, Streeber still struggles to understand why. Why this place? Why him?
10 years have passed. I've had many of these encounter experiences. And it has been the hardest thing in my life. It has, in many respects, destroyed my life. But I wouldn't trade it for anything. It's better than climbing Mount Everest. It's been the most exciting darn thing. Incredible experience. Incredible.
Whitley Strieber believes that within the next few years, there will be yet another breakthrough in the abduction phenomenon. He feels that the visitors, as he describes them, will reveal themselves in a more concrete, public way and tell us why they've come.
My dear children, peace, peace, peace.
Next, our visionaries about to reveal a mysterious message of hope for war-torn Bosnia.
Oh, not Bosnia.
Recently, sightings reported from Venezuela, where claims of miraculous healing coincide with reported apparitions of the Virgin
boy.
Mary. In this update, Carla Wohl reports that sightings of religious apparitions are on the increase worldwide.
It was at a shrine in remote Batania, Venezuela, that I first met Maria Esperanza and heard firsthand accounts of religious visions, supernatural lights, and miraculous healing. But extraordinary events inspired by visions of the Virgin Mary are not unique to Batania. According to Emory University assistant professor Charles Knuckles, Marian apparitions are increasing at a dramatic rate.
At a time of crisis, instances like this tend to crop up greater and greater frequency.
Charles Knuckles? Is he Mickey's dad?
No apparition site illustrates Knuckles' theory better than Medjugorje in the Serb Republic. Here, mysterious messages of peace are offering a ray of hope in this war-ravaged region. It began here in 1981 when 6 teenagers claimed that the Virgin Mary had appeared to them. The visions continue to this day. Ivan
Yeah, I remember that weird, whatever the previous miracle segment was. It was really strange.
Dragicevic was one
Like a statue that leaked milk or something.
of those teens. He came to the United States during the recent peace talks in Ohio.
Describe for me the apparition.
Describe.
Oh, Carla Wall. Reporter trad.
For me, the apparition.
When Our
Ivan
Lady comes,
Dregov.
she comes in a light.
Oh my
and she
God,
never
what?
st-
Okay, what do you have to do to get that as your cryon? Visionary?
When Our Lady comes, she comes in a light. And she...
The lady come.
When Our Lady comes, she comes in a light, and she never stands on the ground.
When Our Lady come, she come in the light.
She's on a cloud.
Like Britannia, tens
When
of
our woman come, she on a cloud.
thousands of people have visited Medjugorje on a pilgrimage of faith. Wayne Weibel came as an impartial journalist. He left a believer.
I was unprepared for what happened when I got
What
there.
happened?
I saw lights where there were no
Oh
lights.
no, not Wayne Wibble. He wrote the book Miracle at Medjugorje.
And I saw the sun do its spinning and pulsating in the sky. I mean, how do you explain the sun dancing all over the sky?
Why
Excuse me?
do you think you were chosen to see these visions?
I'm asking myself today, why me? I know that there is a great joy in my life today, but it's also a great responsibility.
Yvonne says that the Virgin Mary appears to him each night at precisely 6:40. He then relays her message to the
almost
faithful.
6:40.
Yvonne recalled for me the first prophetic message he received
Sam
15
Waterston.
years ago.
Good eye.
My dear children, peace, peace, peace.
Almost 10 years
Looks
to
like
the
it's
day
working.
after that profound vision, war erupted in Yugoslavia. Miraculously, the people and pilgrims of Medjugorje have remained unscathed. Some say it is the supernatural aura here that contributed to another miracle in the region, the safe return of Air Force Captain Scott O'Grady, who was shot down a short distance from Medjugorje.
If it wasn't for God's love for me and my love for God, I wouldn't have gotten through it. And he's the one
These people are really taking the credit for saving O'Grady.
he's the one that delivered me here, and I know that in my heart.
Would you argue that Scott O'Grady's being rescued has something to do with Medjugorje?
Oh, absolutely. By his own admission. During his time of hiding out, he said he felt the presence of the Blessed Virgin Mary there. He felt
It's nice of John Stockton to get into this after his NBA career ended.
something of Medjugorje while he was there. He didn't go any further in his explanation, and he's kept it very quiet and very private.
Yvonne believes that the presence of the Virgin Mary in Medjugorje can save lives and heal the sick, but that she will soon reveal her ultimate purpose here. You were supposed to receive 10 secret messages. How many have you received so far?
I have 9 secrets.
And what will
What? I have 9 secrets.
happen after the 10th?
Our Lady will explain to us what will happen and what needs to be done. I cannot tell you anything ahead of time.
None of the 6 Medjugorje visionaries knows when or how the 10th secret will be revealed, only that the timing is out of their hands.
In Medjugorje, people are praying that the peace process will continue and that the war will soon end. And they carry the hope that when peace finally comes, the 10th secret will be revealed.
Is the Sakaro UFO an alien sighting or a government secret? The Air Force claims it's a lunar landing vehicle. One eyewitness strongly disagrees.
Fire came off the bottom, so I started running behind my police car.
The Southwest encounter, then...
There's no trickery involved here. It's a power, and people come out of healings feeling better.
Investigate the miracle medicine of the South American shamans and discover their true healing
That's on the next episode.
powers. Next time on Sightings.
If you've had a paranormal experience, please write to us at Sightings. Sightings can also be contacted at America Online at keyword
Yeah, well, you can't save everybody, right, Bob Brown?
Sightings. At the Sightings Forum, download images, sounds, and QuickTime clips. Also, join us for Monday evening chat sessions live on AOL.
Until next
I have
time,
9
remember,
secrets.
no mystery is closed to an open mind. Until next time, remember, no mystery is closed to an open mind. For Sightings, I'm Tim White.
Thank you, Henry Winkler. All right, let's watch one more. Oh, no. Okay, there's Tim White. Here we go.
And their courage for having come better.
Investigates a police officer. 30 years after the fact, the Air Force tries to provide an explanation for a landmark UFO encounter.
Now they're providing us with new explanations for old sightings.
Hold on. Get that all the way up, right? Yeah.
I have no idea why they're doing it, but I find it highly significant.
In New Mexico, Sightings investigates a police officer's controversial contact at Socorro. Then, in Ecuador, the powers of nature...
Dude, I'm so psyched for the shamanic healing segment.
...are harnessed to perform miraculous healings.
There's no trickery involved here. It's a power,
every 420.
And people come out of healings feeling better.
Psychic Diana Abbott wants people to know one thing about hauntings. Being afraid only makes it worse.
First thing I'll tell these people is no fear.
Hey, listen, do you ever think of just not being scared of the ghosts? Look at this lady. Nah.
Ridiculous.
I felt such affection for the
stressful lady.
And their courage for having come forward.
And find out why a highly regarded journalist has opened his mind and his heart to victims of alien abduction.
Welcome to Sightings. I'm Tim White. When it comes to the classic UFO cases of the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, the U.S. government is running out of excuses as more and more documents become declassified.
You won't be able to see the detail on this, but I made a thumbnail for The Heathen, his song, Ain't That Right, Linda? And I told it to maximize the patriotism, so it made The Heathen reclining on a throne of bald eagles. And then, like, Abraham Lincoln is on here, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Liberty Bell, Don't Tread on Me, eagles everywhere, statues everywhere. It's pretty patriotic.
Officials can no longer blame every major UFO sighting on comets, clouds, and weather balloons. Does this mean the government will finally begin telling us everything it knows about UFOs? Socorro, New Mexico is the kind of small town people are usually traveling through on their way to someplace else. Visitors rarely slow down long enough to learn that this place has a mysterious past.
Bob Brown is correct. We are living on what is inarguably a prison planet.
And that one retired Socorro police officer is still haunted by the unearthly encounter that took place here 32 years ago. Lonnie Zamora remembers April 24th, 1964. He was a rookie on the force, returning to the station after an uneventful day. Then, a speeding vehicle passed Zamora's patrol car, and he set off in pursuit.
When we got to this hill, saw a lot of dust, and I let the speeder go, and I turned to investigate.
Probably the same reason that they're the highest target for, like, serial killers, because people don't want to see them.
I could see a white object sitting between those two bushes over there, and I had to come real slow because this was a messed up road, had big rocks on it and everything. I thought it was the kids from high school. They were racing up here, and maybe one of the
high-risk
teenagers
lifestyle
had turned over.
When the speeding object came to a stop, Zamora claims that he saw two figures in white coveralls emerge from a strange white UFO. He moved in slowly.
I came up here on this road till I could find a flat spot where I could park my car. I got out the car and glanced down to the arroyo there, and I saw this white-looking object. It was sort of a big egg shape, bigger than a car. Those are the exact bushes that were there, and the craft was sitting right in between them two. So I started down to see what it was, and then I heard this big boom in the bottom, and fire came off the bottom. So I started running behind my police car to take cover. I could feel the heat off it because it was windy like now, and then it gradually pulled up about 20, 30 feet and stayed there for a while and then just took off.
His radio was dead. Zamora could only watch in awe as the object disappeared over the horizon. As soon as it was gone, the police radio crackled to life, and Zamora called for backup. A New Mexico State Police unit quickly arrived.
We came down here, and we saw this big rock right down here. It was still on fire. And then we saw the imprints of the legs of the craft, and there was 4 of them. And then we saw this footprints around here.
By nightfall, the FBI had arrived on scene and began gathering evidence.
They went down there and measured the footprints and everything. And we stayed out here till about 7 or 8 o'clock at night, still wondering what it was. But they didn't say what it was or not. About 9 o'clock, they said we went down.
Yes, he throws it completely all the way across the street. It's obvious, like definitely, it's obvious that he did it on purpose. That was a premeditated crime by the littering black cab driver, Eddie Sellers.
Courthouse, and we talked about it until about midnight.
Instantly, Socorro was the center of an unprecedented media frenzy.
This is one of the few sightings that got national attention immediately. Lonnie Zamora's story is on the national news. It's in all the newspapers. Everybody's talking about it.
Kevin Randall is an internationally renowned UFO investigator. He feels the Socorro events stand alone because of the amount of physical evidence collected at the scene.
Landing gear marks were found. The bush was burned by the UFO engine. There were occupants, creatures from the craft sighted by Lonnie Zamora.
And the event brought the greatest UFO researcher of the day to Socorro.
J. Allen Hynek, the Air Force consultant, came to Socorro. He looked at it, talked to Zamora, talked to Zamora's superiors, talked to people who saw the landing traces, took photographs. So there's physical evidence remaining behind. It's one of the few times they said there could be a flying saucer.
I had conversations with Dr. Hynek about the Socorro case, and his comments to me led me to believe that he felt that this was one of those cases where the government was unwilling to permit him to say what he would like to say about it, and that dismayed him a great deal.
According to Timmerman,
I like this guy. Down home, he seems just like a regular dude, you know? Regular Joe.
Time associate of J. Allen Hynek, the Socorro event was one of the defining moments in Hynek's career.
He felt that this was one of the most important cases he'd come across. And I think that maybe his attitude toward it was developed as a result of his...
Another one. Thank you, Bob Brown, for another watermelon. That guy is so cool. His drink is, I mean, that is a... Look how much effort went into the visual on this one. That's one of the nicer ones, honestly, I think. Like, that's got some true craftsmanship in it. Man, is it still going, or am I just really high? There he goes. I feel like that lasted forever. What a value. Thank you, Bob Brown. I appreciate that, man. Those things crack me up.
Feel about the Lonnie Zamora, the primary witness.
Lonnie Zamora is very
I feel like it went like 9 or 10 times. That seemed like it lasted forever.
Incredible. He's a police officer. He has nothing to gain by telling this story. He is stuck with this story from the very beginning. This is what he saw. There's no question that Lonnie Zamora saw something unusual on the ground.
According to the Air Force and government...
Oh, look at this guy.
They say they
You know this. You can take this guy at his word. This guy, he's old school legit.
They don't know what it was, and they never told me the not to say or say about it, you know, talk about it. But they say that they don't know what it was.
In fact, it took 21 years for the Air Force to finally offer an explanation for the Socorro UFO landing. They offered logs from the White Sands Missile Base, charting government testing of the newly developed lunar landing module. But the logs indicate the tests ended more than 5 hours before Zamora's sighting.
The Air Force explanation simply doesn't work because they have no documentation to place the lunar lander in that portion of New Mexico at that time. It does not match Zamora's description.
I think if Dr. Hynek were here today and saw this new documentation available, the report that the Air Force says it was a lunar lander, if anything, that landed near Socorro, I think he'd say bushwalk. He'd say that this is a
bushwalk.
The government trying to do its fancy little dance and saying things that will satisfy the media, who will satisfy the country and the world, that there's no reality to the UFO phenomenon, whereas there is.
And according to JPL, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California, the lunar lander alluded.
He just seems like he just punched you right in the nose.
Just
one good one.
Data did not fly. It was dropped from a tower and had no system of independent propulsion as reported by Zamora. Randall believes that this is proof the Socorro UFO was not a lunar lander.
The Air Force...
Corn Dog likes those kind of rough and tumble elderly men. She liked those, you know, calloused, wrinkly hands all over her body.
Completed their UFO investigation, said they had nothing more to say on it, and yet now they're coming out this year providing us with new explanations for old sightings. I have no idea why they're doing, but I find it highly significant.
Randall believes it is Socorro's proximity to...
He's like the guy who, did you guys see that clip recently where the dude got really pissed off because the guy wouldn't take his hat off during the national anthem? He seems like the kind of guy that would hit someone in the back of the head for that. I think I've told you guys this, but at a wrestling show one time, a guy got really mad at me because I didn't take my hat off during the... I don't remember if it was because I had a hat on or because I had just walked up during it and I sat down and he got really upset about it. I can't remember. It was one of those two things.
Several highly sensitive military bases,
but he was bent out of shape.
A continuing disinformation campaign.
It is between the Los Alamos National Laboratory, the White Sands Missile Range. The Very Large Array radio telescope is 50 or 60 miles to the west. Socorro's right in the middle of this. If you've got a race of intelligent beings wanting to see what we're doing, this makes a perfect place for them to come to observe our steps into space and what our science is doing.
According to Timmerman, the Socorro event convinced Dr. Hynek that the truth about UFOs was being manipulated by the Air Force. After Socorro, Hynek left his post. The government lost one of its most prestigious spokespersons and gained...
Whoa, what? Hey, South to West, are you still in here, buddy? I got some news for you if you are.
Its most ardent critic.
Dr. Hynek saw this and it was very obvious to him that what Lonnie Zamora was saying in the depths of his honesty was not what the military was saying in their attempt to explain it.
Looks like a plug.
Disproving the lunar lander theory does not mean that the Socorro craft came from...
South to West, VP confirmed on her stream this morning that she is 6 foot, 200 pounds.
Another planet. But it does raise serious questions about the true nature of the event. What could have landed there more than 30 years ago that is still too sensitive to reveal?
Next, healing secrets of the shamans. Later, a dramatic abduction in Scotland. And is this the ultimate doomsday machine?
Yeah, I'm hoping to do a Dark Triad stream tomorrow to celebrate her return. Flying butt plug.
Recently, I accompanied a sightings
She said that her tits aren't big, but that they're very fun to play with.
Investigative team to Ecuador. We were hearing stories about miraculous healings being performed.
No body count updates.
By men who breathed fire and communicated with ancient spirits. It was an incredible journey into a culture rarely seen by outsiders. This is what a house call looks like in many parts of Ecuador.
Yeah, she said she said it herself that she was well, I don't know. She could have meant that she was over. She just mentioned it, but I don't know that, thinking back, I don't know that she meant it like that she was right at it. She might have just been saying like that she was over 200 pounds. You know what I mean?
Ecuador. At its center is the shaman, a healer trained in ancient methods that appear bizarre.
I didn't really want to follow up on it because I was getting ready for my stream, so I didn't really have time, but...
...to outsiders. His pharmacy is the rainforest, the sea, and the mountains of South America. To appreciate the powers and magic that these individuals possess, it's necessary to see the shaman's world from the inside. Between the lakes and volcanoes of the Ecuadorian Andes, for centuries, the shaman have been celebrated as mystical healers and teachers. Now, the shaman have something to teach.
Man, this guy is going everywhere. Look at this beautiful Dorunda-esque backdrop here. He's really starting to learn, I think.
Us. Sightings journeyed to central Ecuador, to the village of Carabuela.
He got a trip to Japan out of this? A trip to Ecuador?
A fertile plain ringed by active volcanoes, an area known here as the Valley of the Dawn. Our guides were local expert Eduardo Quito.
You think VP doesn't weigh more than 175? Why would she be, do you think she'd be motivated to lie about her weight?
Oh, and John Perkins.
Well, you know what I mean. I think she would lie low, right? Rather than overestimate it.
Successful corporate executive turned environmentalist and an expert
look at
on
this
shamanism. Successful corporate executive turned environmentalist and an expert on shamanism. John, what is the definition
look at this.
of
This
a
is such a Kino interview. Wow, look at it gets even better. Man, this is just one beautiful landscape after another.
Mentalist and an expert on shamanism. John, what is the definition of a...
Like, this is a Kino scene. This is a great backdrop. And then the one behind him is even better.
Shaman.
The definition that I like best, the short definition, is a shaman is a person who journeys into other worlds. And we may call that the subconscious or the collective unconscious. And in these other worlds, he finds power, energy, and knowledge that he can then use to effect change in this world.
Shamanism is based on a belief in the power and value of Mother Nature, that earthly forces affect us in mysterious ways.
The most important thing that's going on is recognizing our oneness and our unity with nature. The shaman will use his wakas, his sacred stones, and he'll be using different herbs, and he'll be using trago, this cane sugar alcohol, and
But have you seen her in a bikini recently? She's saying right now she's two bills, but she's been off YouTube for a minute. She took a little bit of a sabbatical.
Fire and water, air and earth, all of the elements will be present.
Perkins worked with...
I would say she was probably 200 during the cake sitting. I would think. But then she lost it, and then she's had a couple like yo-yo weight things. But I think she's saying like right now after her break, she's 200.
World Bank until a trip to Brazil and a meeting with a shaman changed the focus of his life's work and inspired him to write this book about his experience.
What's up, Media Hits?
Ipupiara, my blood brother, is Ipashuna Orowawao from the Brazilian Amazon. Very, very...
Ipashuno to you, Media Hits. Yeah, South to West. You don't remember Vegan Patriot sitting on the cake? I was watching InfoWars at the time, and I got a notification on Instagram, and when I opened my Instagram, it was her sitting on a cake. And so I have a screenshot of it where you can see InfoWars like on my main screen, but then there's like the little window of VP.
Very special person, a shaman who has been...
And then I think their name was YouTube, like you and then a tube. But I think their channel got taken down, had a clip of her sitting on the cake.
Great influence in my life. Very important man who's not only a shaman from the Amazon, but also has a PhD in anthropology and is working as a...
Warning, some exhibits inside may not be historical or fair to America.
Consultant to the Smithsonian right now.
Look at this. Look at the aura of this guy coming out of the Smithsonian. He's like, yeah, I'm learned. What of it?
Ipupiara is the indigenous name of anthropologist and shaman Bernardo Peixoto. It means freshwater dolphin.
The first thing that I had to learn to be a shaman was to respect and love.
This is the Ecuadorian American dream.
People. Then they start teaching me about this sacred religion that we have, how to heal, how to take the vision quest, how to fast, how to purify myself. And also,
I gotta feed Poppy, I'll be right back.
To learn about the herbs and the roots and leaves that we have in the rainforest to heal people.
Healing is one of the most important duties of the shaman. Janice Meader gained first-hand knowledge of shamanic power after a trip to Ecuador with John Perkins.
Prior to my departure, I had been diagnosed with an ovarian tumor.
And so as we went into the shaman's place and sat down, I said to the shaman, this woman with me has a very specific illness. She was diagnosed by a doctor in the United States, and I'd like to tell you about it. And he said, no, let me tell her.
He went right to it. It was surprising, if you want to call it that. He was able to go over my entire body without me saying a word. And
Excuse
locating
me?
the exact to go over my entire body.
I don't think it's an issue though, Bob, talking about their weight if it's something they talk about. And like, I'm not really like, I'm not shaming her at all. I'm just saying like that's, you know, that's what she said.
Without me saying a word and locating the exact location of where this tumor existed.
The results of her healing session with the shaman were even more surprising.
After the healing session, I returned home from the Amazon with John Perkins. And
no, I just like to watch InfoWars.
Decided to check in with my doctor. I just wanted to see peace.
I think I always am a fan of Alex Jones. Not for so much what he says, but as a character, I just think he's really entertaining.
Mind-wise, how things were going. And when I went back, it was diagnosed that the tumor had dissipated.
Here at the top of the Andes, almost at the top of the world, in tiny Carabuela, John Perkins wanted me to meet the legendary shaman and healer, Don Esteban.
Of course.
We were invited to attend a healing session. That night, a local woman was being treated for migraine headaches that had plagued her for months. Don Esteban.
I would agree with that. Like if I went into Grace's chat and I was like, hey, what are you weighing? Although Grace would just tell me, I don't think should be an issue. Same with VP. But I get it traditionally if you ask, but like I didn't ask. They just stated it. It was like a point of discussion. You know what I mean? It's just part of observing and reporting.
The room by blowing fermented sugar cane over it. He purified himself by disgorging bad spirits he felt were inside him, and then he blew fire as a final cleansing ritual.
There's no trickery involved here. It's a power, and people come out of healings feeling better.
The patient is given an ancient Amazonian spear.
We're very body positive at Fusion Studios.
Blows carnation petals on the woman. To someone trained to respect the Western tradition of stethoscope and prescription pad, the shaman's methods were bizarre. A flogging with native plants, sacred stones rubbed on the chest and head. And as the evening progressed, the shamanic rituals became more bizarre, culminating in this dramatic moment.
He will use fire, using the alcohol, blowing it through a candle so that the patient is engulfed in a ball of fire, which helps to smooth down this myelite, this bad air, this bad energy.
So is Jerry Lawler a shamanic healer?
The bad vibrations.
Finally, Don Esteban uses crystal to draw the sickness out of the patient.
Media hits. Did you know I talked to some witches one time about doing an unbinding ritual on the Thorpes? But then I got high and never followed up.
And into himself.
When I drink in bad spirits, I wake up the next day feeling weak, not feeling so good. But it has helped heal people, and the spirits protect me. I honor them, I honor the earth, and it gives me energy and strength.
Shamans, like Don Esteban, believe there is a balance in our lives, as there is in nature.
Look at this bird.
Now,
look at him. This is a wise bird. Look at it. Look at the soul, the old soul in his eyes. He's such a soulful bird.
A balance in our lives.
Look at him. He knows, man. He's seen some shit. What a neat gentleman this guy is.
As there is in nature.
Bye, buddy.
But now the scales are tipping, especially in the north.
It's important for all of us to recognize that we all come from shamanic cultures.
Could get dicey on nose alignment. I'd charge into that breach.
It's in our cells, it's in our DNA, whether we're from Asia or Europe or Oceania or Africa or the Americas. Every one of us has shamans in our ancestry.
Frankie.
John Perkins isn't advocating that we turn our backs on the medical profession. Rather, Perkins and others are suggesting that we consider the power of all forms of traditional medicine, even if the tradition is not our own.
Yeah, you'd have to come and chat with the Phantom of the Opera mask. Didn't he wear like a clear one, kind of like the basketball guys do?
Next,
or did he have the actual like Phantom of the Opera style?
Necessary part of our national defense. Its critics call it a doomsday machine. This just may be the most important story you've never heard.
Oh, Cody Rhodes had the basketball one.
Here are some of the stories that Sightings is following in the news, or not in the news, as the case may be. Project Censored is an annual effort by journalists and others to seek out and publicize news stories which they feel have been ignored. One story that caught our attention concerned a government project called HARP.
Oh, wow. HARP?
In California, Sonoma State University is the home of Project Censored, an annual review of more than 700 stories that have been overlooked or underreported by the mainstream media. A panel of judges, including Mike Wallace, Bill Moyers, and John McLaughlin, select an annual top 10 list of the most significant news stories. Last year, the #1 most underreported story was a mysterious U.S. government project called HARP. HARP is an acronym for High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. It's based in Gakona.
Yeah, because you could still smell because you'd have the nose openings.
Alaska, and when the program is fully functioning, it will blast up to 1 billion watts of radio energy into the sky.
HARP could be used to
all the pheromones, none of the risk.
Alter weather patterns, to jam electrical grids, for serious things.
Thank you, Bob Brown, for the happy poop. I appreciate that, man. I was wondering if Sonoma was in the Bay Area.
Public, in fact, had every right and need to know about. So on that basis alone, it qualifies. It also qualifies because there's been virtually no mainstream press coverage. We're talking about New York Times, LA Times, Washington Post, the network news shows. The HARP story has been virtually completely absent from mainstream coverage. The fact that the public does not know about it, and the fact that the press has not reported the story, gives us some concern, and I think we give many, many Americans some concern.
Some concerned people are calling these HARP antennae the doomsday machine. They believe the program will have a number of questionable functions, including X-raying the Earth, changing seasonal weather patterns, destroying enemy missiles, even psychotronic warfare. The debate over the global effects of HARP will be the subject of an extended investigation on the next edition of Sightings. In Beijing, the Chinese government has now rejected a 6-year-old boy as the reincarnation of the Panchen Lama, Tibet's second holiest religious figure. The boy had been chosen after a series of secret ceremonies in May of 1995 and was dubbed Panchen Lama by the Dalai Lama, the supreme leader of Tibet's Buddhists. The Dalai Lama currently lives in exile and has been the object of an ongoing war of conscience between the Tibetan Buddhists and the Chinese government. Tibet's selection of the boy ended a 6-year search for the successor to the 10th Panchen Lama, who died in 1989. The rejection by Beijing is the most serious step in the religious and political confrontation between the spiritual hierarchy of Tibet and Chinese officials. Many in Tibet now fear for the safety of the boy chosen by the Dalai Lama, because the Chinese government has now identified a different boy as the reincarnated soul. In doing so, they are being accused of interfering with the religious freedom of Tibet. And China now becomes the first communist government to officially express a belief in reincarnation. Scotland's first reported case of alien abduction took center stage at the 8th Annual UFO Congress held recently in Sheffield, England. Scottish UFO researcher Malcolm Robinson revealed details of his case history of a unique abduction experience. It was a terrifying encounter that occurred in 1992 when Gary Wood and Colin Wright claimed that they were abducted together from a wooded area on the outskirts of Edinburgh.
They contacted numerous societies in England for someone to take them seriously. And I can't believe that.
See, next time, if you ever doubt Jimmy again on the idea that governments or whatever can destiny swap someone, there you have it. This kid was chosen by God, essentially. And then the government was like, no, that's a fake God kid. This is the real God kid. And they destiny swapped him. Happens all the time.
Nobody got in touch with these gentlemen.
Robinson was the first researcher to suggest that Wood and Wright be interrogated separately.
We need to stand up for that. We need to get him. He is the living embodiment of the pungent llama.
And that they undergo hypnosis to see if even their subconscious memories would match.
It's never too late for justice.
It was just terror. Vivid memories seem to arise. Beings being in some form of a room, being on some form of a platform with these big creatures. There's small ones and big ones around me, doing things to me.
It is only now that their case is being revealed at conferences like this one in Sheffield that Wood
they didn't put it on me all night.
and Wright feel they can begin to recover from the unexplained events of August 17th,
I hope they come back
1992.
soon and have cash out.
I feel more comfortable now, rather than being up all night, terrified and scared.
Ufologists from around the world are particularly intrigued by
This is just Nick New.
this Scottish case because the two abductees are
I know
men who
she's
have
not
not been
Scottish,
exposed
but-
previously to the alien abduction phenomenon or the details revealed by other abductees under hypnosis.
I believe in the sincerity
guy's
of
great.
these two gentlemen. This really did happen.
He seems like a drunk detective.
And it's the only case in Scotland to take me off the proverbial fence into believing that perhaps...
Oh, Grace, I seen a UFO here. It's really done a lot of damage to my house. Can you help me out? Can I borrow 20 pounds? 20
what
quid.
perhaps humankind is indeed interacting with some form of alien intelligence.
We'll have more stories from the news next time. Now, here's what's coming up on Sightings.
Diana Abbott believes when it comes to hauntings, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
This is a very practical science as far as I'm concerned. There's no superstition involved.
Later, close encounters of the fourth kind.
Ghosts are the most persistent of all paranormal phenomena. For centuries, we've wondered why only some people see apparitions of the dead walking among us. Perhaps it's all a dream. Or maybe there are spirits who return because they have unfinished business here on Earth. Born during a lunar eclipse, psychic Diana Abbott believes she inherited her unique gift from her grandmother, who accurately predicted the date and time of Diana's birth. Recently, Diana contacted Sightings about haunting activity in her hometown of Omaha, Nebraska. Her no-nonsense approach caught our immediate attention.
This is a very practical science as far as I'm concerned.
It's me. What do you think? Could you make the nose alignment happen with Diana Abbott?
There's no superstition involved.
Diana consults with local law enforcement agencies and also works with private clients who are trying to cope with hauntings and other paranormal activity. Her philosophy is get tough, get smart, and don't be a victim.
I really hate to see it when people
don't be a victim.
People buy into the fact that they've got a ghost in their house or they have paranormal activity, and they make a projection out of it, and you see people going through this, oh, poor me type thing. Well, that's ridiculous because all that's going to do is make it worse. We wouldn't leave.
Did he happen to say anything about that kid that got his destiny swapped? Ooh, we got kind of spunky trad, Patty Rotert. Patty Roter. She's an experienced. She has. Never mind. I misread that second word. Experienced spirit phenomenon.
Unless there was something very serious happening.
When Diana first met the frightened residents of this Nebraska farm, they were victims, allowing the threatening entity's presence they felt here to drive them out.
I could never sleep in my bedroom. I could never sleep at night. I would wake up for no reason in the middle of the night and just have this incredible fear.
It was like the greatest noise you could possibly hear. It was almost like a freight train going through your house. It was almost like somebody just grabbing your house and squeezing it in and out. It was just like the most horrible thing.
and it just sort of shocks you. You just sort of sit there because you know.
Oh, I thought she was the daughter of the investigator. This is the lady that lives there?
Sound from an old house. It's very pronounced, and there's no explanation for it. It's enough to scare you and make you think that there's something else in the house that wants you out, or at least wants you to be afraid of it.
Captured this.
The entities reportedly seen on this property have taken many shapes and forms.
One time when I drove in the driveway, I thought I saw a dog about the same color as mine.
Tim Markle once saw a dog.
And I thought to myself, you know, my roommate, I said, darn it, you know, why did you let my dog out and leave? I pull in the driveway, I get out and I call for her, and she didn't come, so I went inside, and there she was, running up to me inside the house.
Among the first to be called in to help was the family priest, who offered to perform a house blessing.
There are times when powerful forces have overtaken places and people for which special treatment and special prayer was needed. I have never been confronted in my 22 years as
the Reverend Dennis Hahnemann
priest with anything like this, no.
The blessing was no match for the
Hahnemann versus... Oh, the blessing was no match.
Forces here. The spirit attacks continued and then intensified.
When the situation...
Much like the people who tried to help Love Left Me Forever get to that reunion, that priest's will just wasn't strong enough to get the job done.
The situation is so bad.
His faith just couldn't cut it.
That you have to run out of the house. We knew we needed help.
They sought help from Diana Abbott as a last resort.
She instantly knew about the house, told me and described rooms in my house when I had never talked to her. She hadn't known me, had never been to our house. I was actually shaking that she knew so much about our house, and I'd never talked to her before.
The very first time Diana walked through the property, she made contact with what she felt was a ghostly entity.
I felt some energy behind me that was building very rapidly, and it was what I would perceive as being human energy, but transitory. In other words, what we would call a ghost. And I turned around to look, and a female form, through my vision, started to form over here next to the barn. It is somewhat unusual to see...
What was their name? Center Stage? That Black Velvet's one of the best performances on the whole show.
An apparition in daylight hours, just tangibly. Just now, standing over this area where I saw the young woman, I very definitely was told that she drowned.
A sightings researcher has since confirmed that a young woman did die on the property. She drowned in a horse trough in 1934.
The barn itself has a lot of activity, even upstairs. It feels almost juvenile in nature, I'd have to say, or just a very low spirit level, which could potentially be...
Oh, wow, low spirit level. Wow, this lady's into domination.
Poltergeist activity. But I get a sensation of one or two horses or two that are still, in their minds, alive and still living in that barn. It's almost like looking at dust. If you leave dust alone for a year, it has time to build and gain shape also. And it's the same thing with this type of energy. It was undisturbed, had nothing to get in its way, and subsequently started building back to the form that it started out in. And in this case, it was ghosts. You're not going to destroy this energy, you're only going to transform it. This is manageable, it can be handled. Most ghost settings can be handled. Don't buy into the fear, don't buy into the anger.
With a mix of philosophy, psychology, and practical tips, Diana counsels the roommates that they can take back their home.
Everything in life is either wave or particle. With that in mind, to break those energy fields apart, you introduce more wave and more particle. And for us in the physical plane of existence, that means light and sound and smell. So the more sunlight in the rooms that you've got, the more sound through radio or stereo.
ATF, she's going to go and crop dust all the rooms to handle the smell part of it.
TV, anything, and people too. And also the use of incense, or even perfumes, potpourri, anything to break up the energy field that's causing you problems. That's how you start.
Daughter looks
Diana
like Dark
also
Side
told
Phil's
the group
wife.
that she felt that much of the destructive energy in the house was emanating from this room upstairs.
Before you enter in this room, I would visualize a shield of white light around yourself and then put blue around that for protection. This is an energy vacuum. You may end up with headaches or some other physical anomaly unless you do. So just visualize white light around yourself when you walk in here. The The strongest area of energy is straight behind the door. That is an area that is literally the worst in the house. Very, very, very negative energy.
Diana believes it is possible to change this kind of negative energy.
She's filling that closet up with them, and then she's going to be like, now when there are ghosts around, you can sometimes have a sulfur-like smell, and the daughter will be like, oh, it is. It just smells like rotten eggs back here.
By using an ancient ritual.
This is sea salt and also some herbs in it. And what you need to do then is place it in the corners of the room as close to being it.
Was he supposed to smell it?
And what you need to do then, sea salt and also some herbs in it. And what you need to do then is place it in the corners of the room as close to being true north, true south, true east, and true west as possible.
It's time for you to move on.
In that house, what they have upstairs is emotionally damaging because it restricts their use of their facility, and that's not right.
This guy
So
very
people
low
have
T.
to learn how to take back their environment. From my viewpoint, there's no victims here. First thing I'll tell these people is no fear. That's ridiculous.
It's terrible that people have to leave their homes because of hauntings. And, you know, there are ways to deal with the ghosts and keep you sane, and apparently that's what I'm doing.
These people will learn to deal with this energy. I'm not the least bit concerned about that. They will learn. But it's great to see people growing with the situation instead of backing away and being fearful and diminishing their lives. In this case, these people's lives have opened up because of this experience, which is the way it should be. They've made it positive, and they've turned it for the good. It's like I said, the basic final statement is no fear.
Diana Abbott does not know if the ghosts will ever leave the farmhouse. But she feels that it's up to the people who live there to decide.
So basically, they paid her to come in and say, hey, sniff this salt, and then it's up to you guys from here. So what a complete waste of time and money for that family.
Whether they will be victims or victors in this haunting situation.
Next, a respected journalist investigates stories of alien abduction.
The phrase is utterly credible people telling utterly incredible stories.
Despite ridicule, censure, and public scorn, people are continuing to insist that they have had close encounters of the fourth kind. The abduction phenomenon is not going away. Instead, as Carla Wall tells us in this report, it's getting some attention in the academic mainstream. If alien abduction is here to stay, they concede, we'd better figure out what exactly is going on.
Gee, you think?
I was so terrified looking into these.
Looks like 1,000 trails.
Big black eyes.
I ended up on a craft, laying down on a table.
Surrounded by these beings, and one of them's putting a needle in my neck.
Yeah, imagine a white shield around you. $500, please. Money, please.
They're emerging from...
Sprinkle a little salt in each corner, and you know what? Just don't be afraid, okay? Now, gratuity is not included.
A personal nightmare, coming forward to tell their stories of alien abduction. The sheer magnitude of the phenomenon is what inspired this author.
Haunted by the ghosts of the YouTubers that he never met up with at VidCon.
To write Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind, Alien Abduction, UFOs, and the Conference at MIT. He is C.D.B. Bryan, a seasoned and respected journalist, contributor to New Yorker magazine, and the author of Friendly Fire. I met with Bryan at his home in Connecticut to find out what drew him to the academic conference on which his book is based.
Why go to the MIT conference in the first place?
Carla Wall, reporter trad.
Because it was such a crazy idea. And I thought that if MIT, that high church of technology, was holding a conference on this subject, and I learned it was...
CDB Bryan.
Being chaired by Dave Pritchard, who is a Broida Prize-winning physicist at MIT, and John Mack, who had already won the Pulitzer, the Harvard psychiatrist. If these two men were chairing a conference on this subject, which was the equivalent of Little Green Men, it was news. MIT was lending this phenomenon a credibility which it had never had before.
The prestigious Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
Oh, great. We go from Bay Area adjacent right into the heart of New England.
a bastion of critical thought, was an unlikely setting for a conference on the alien abduction phenomenon, which took place in June of 1992. Physicist and MIT professor Dr. David Pritchard organized the conference.
The point is not that MIT endorses alien abduction as a scientific area of research, but that they endorse the principle of academic freedom and freedom of inquiry.
Pritchard and his co-chair, Harvard psychiatrist Dr. John Mack, assembled the most respected names in abduction studies for 5 days of seminars and debate.
Carpenter.
Despite the scholarly focus of the conference, many attendees faced scorn from their
good to see Michael Swords on the list, but I didn't see Peter James.
Colleagues, including historian Dr. David
I guess he's
Jacobs.
a ghost guy.
This is a phenomenon that is steeped in ridicule. There is a price to pay. It's a
You have experienced a ghost? That's fair.
price that I have paid willingly. It's a price that
I would never question your experiences, Leo. Only these people.
I think all academics have to pay ultimately if you're very outspoken about the subject.
You have to be
like a
doubly,
gunshot.
triply careful about what you say. It's certainly going to be misinterpreted. In fact, you don't have to say anything, and people will say, well, Dave Pritchard thinks it's real, even
Who does
though
this
I
guy
never
think he's fooling with this hairpiece?
said that, and I don't have any evidence. That doesn't matter. The fact that you're doing it, you're going to get branded in this fashion.
What did you go up there thinking?
Well, I went up determined to have an open mind, which says I was skeptical, and I still am. But in the meantime, I had such admiration for Pritchard and Mack for the risks they were taking.
If you're a commentary streamer, I feel like you kind of have to have a little bit of a spirit of a hater. You know what I mean?
And ultimately, I felt such affection for the abductees and their courage.
I love how thoughtful this guy is.
Having come forward.
For the skeptical Brian, it was not the presence of so many respected academics, but the sincerity of the 20 abductees at the conference that ultimately convinced him to take the phenomenon seriously.
I woke up terrified. Light comes in the window, bed started shaking.
Screaming because I had alien eyes right in front of my face and I couldn't get away from them.
They were so vulnerable. They were frightened. They were smart. They were attractive. They were everything that you would want in a human being, and yet, God, these terrifying things were going on. And I wasn't going to be the one who laughed at them and made fun. I just wanted to try to get them to tell the story and understand it.
Here's someone who came into this with open eyes, and basically he says
Man or woman, who?
that these abductees are sincere, they're telling similar stories, and we just don't know why.
The fact that he sat down and wrote this book and went through the process of his own changing
Look at that laptop. That's so cool.
attitudes towards the subject matter, I think is extraordinarily important. It's kind of a model for the way I think...
Oh, Bud Hopkins. Wow.
An intellectual, if he does get...
These days, you're lucky to get one of these guys on a show, let alone 3 or 4 of them in the same episode.
Caring enough to look into the matter, would tend to find himself moving.
Despite his attempt to leave no academic stone unturned, Brian was unable to find the kind of physical proof that would finally end the debate over the abductees' extraordinary claims.
One of the astronomers up at Harvard complained that he wouldn't believe in the UFO phenomenon until the tailpipe
Well, I don't know,
or a
'cause of
cigarette
the
lighter
name.
dropped from one. But
CDB.
people neglect the fact that these abductees are hard evidence.
So you think something's going on? Do you think abductions are going on?
I'm going to have to be
Eyewitness reports don't really have a lot of, you know,
a journalist.
carry a
I
lot of
haven't
weight.
been abducted. I've never seen anyone abducted. But boy, the people I've interviewed are utterly convincing. And as the phrase is, utterly credible people telling utterly incredible stories. They believe they've been abducted. There's no question in their minds.
Very frightening, you know, you can't really explain what it's like unless it's actually happened to you.
This is something that affects you all your life.
There's a part of me that would love to find the answer, that it was something else.
CDB Brian knows that far more research is needed before anyone will get to the truth of the abduction experience. But Brian says he won't be the one to do it. 1 paranormal book is okay, he feels, but 2 will compromise his standing as a serious
Harvey
journalist.
Freebird has?
Next.
We today are in the process of destroying our civilization, just as Easter Island did destroy its own civilization.
Can the lessons of Easter Island save planet Earth?
No.
The monolithic statue.
This is pretty cool. I think we've had a couple previous segments about Easter Island, but I'm always happy for more.
Statues on Easter Island have always been shrouded in mystery. But the truth is that scientists know who built them
CBD
and how they were
fusion,
created.
THC
the real
fusion.
mystery on Easter Island is not in the statues, but in a macabre trail of death.
Or I like CBN, which is like a heavy sedative.
That almost wiped out an entire civilization. Dr. Jared Diamond believes that
Look, he's got a Kikutaro mask.
Planet Earth is in trouble. And to understand why, we need look no further than this tiny island in the middle of the Pacific.
Easter Island is roughly 8 miles across. Its area is 64 square miles, and it's the most isolated, habitable piece of land on Earth. 2,000 miles off the coast of Chile, 1,400 miles even from the nearest...
Dr. Jared Diamond. And the rock behind him looks exactly like him. Look, there's his nose and his beard. His kind of wispy hair in the front.
Polynesian island.
Today, Easter Island is remote, barren, and largely uninhabited. But this is not nature's doing. The island used to be covered with tropical plants. It was home to exotic animals and large human population, a population much like our own, Dr. Diamond suggests, that ignored the balance of nature.
I think the real appeal of Easter Island is that it is a microcosm for the world and what's happening to us. The biggest threat to human civilization in the next century is an environmental holocaust, and we can see the signs all around us.
Population biologist Dr. Paul Ehrlich also sees a cautionary tale in Easter Island.
The parallels so far between Easter Island and the global population are very clear. That is, Easter Island had a population explosion. We've had a population explosion. Easter Island then had a population collapse. The issue is, are we going to have a population collapse, or are we going to sensibly limit our reproduction so that we can begin a gradual return to a sustainable population size? Because right now, the population of the planet is far above the present carrying capacity.
And when the population of the Easter Island exceeded its carrying capacity, not only was the Pacific paradise destroyed, so were the people.
Mistake number one, too many people. Mistake number two, they destroyed their biological environment. They chopped down the forest. With the loss of forest, there was soil erosion, so their agricultural productivity decreased.
You can see the same thing happening to the entire planet. Land degradation has affected a very large proportion of the world. Desertification has ruined a lot of the western United States.
When the last tree was gone, the islanders had sealed their fate.
They did not have the raw materials needed to build canoes with which they could then go to sea and feed themselves. So they exterminated some of the wild species on which they depended for food. The result was that when they had eliminated the main sources of wild protein, they then turned to the only source of large protein remaining on the islands, namely humans. They turned to cannibalism.
Things got so tough that they began eating each other. I mean, one of the classic curses on Easter Island was, your mother is stuck between my teeth.
Wow.
That's not the situation we was so tough that they began eating each other. I mean, one of the classic curses on Easter Island was, your mother is stuck between my teeth. That's not the situation we want to get into here on the planet as a whole.
But could the island's history repeat itself on a global scale?
He seems a little bit, you know, full of himself, to be honest.
Population and the scale of the human enterprise is growing essentially exponentially. And we could very easily face a demise such as that took over Easter Island.
Essentially, all the tropical rainforests outside of parts of Amazonia and Zaire will be destroyed by the year 2030. The world population is doubling about every 42 years. So in about 60 or 70 years, we'll be using all the energy from sunlight. That then is an absolute limit on human population, and there won't be anything left in the world except humans, cows, rats, and the other animals dependent upon us.
What we need to do immediately is to raise to the top of the human agenda the whole issue of how we reduce the scale of the human enterprise to the point where the planet can sustain us essentially permanently. If we don't start doing that immediately, I fear for the future of our civilization.
The planet Earth is an island in the middle of space, and we today are in the process of destroying our civilization.
He seems like he genuinely believes this stuff.
Just as Easter Island did destroy its own civilization.
I'm not sure what it has to do with Easter Island.
Paul Ehrlich offers his dire predictions not because he's a fatalist, but because he believes there is still time to turn things around.
If you've had a paranormal experience, please write to us at Sightings. Sightings can also be contacted at America Online at keyword Sightings. At the Sightings Forum, download images, sounds, and QuickTime clips. Also, join us daily in our chat room, live on AOL.
Until next time, remember, no mystery is closed to an open mind. For Sightings,
I mean, just what words of wisdom.
I'm Tim White.
Thank you, Henry Winkler. All right, I gotta go. It's not 100% for sure, but I'm leaning toward I will be able to stream tomorrow. I'm gonna do a Dark Triad stream. Probably a Dark Triad mega stream, hopefully. That's a heavy probably, but I can't say for sure. But anyway, thank you for hanging out. I had fun this week. Full length heathen coverage, wrestling. I don't know what else I could have asked for. But all right, I'm going to go, though. Thank you for hanging out. Hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow. If not, by some chance, I'll see you on Monday for Eric McHenry. But until then, I'll see you later.